Whyte Live returns to Channel 5 this Friday. Two of Britain's most exciting super lightweights collide at London's legendary York Hall. Don't miss Eubank vs Farrell this Friday on Channel 5.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Eddie, what a great night of heavyweight fights. Just obviously start at the top with Whyte Franklin, but Gorman Wardley, wow.
Yeah. It's two great heavyweight fights. I mean, both very different. Obviously, Gorman against Wardley was just an old school tear up, and Dillian Whyte and Franklin was a very good fight. I thought Franklin, controlled the early stages of the fight. But I thought Dillian Whyte come back and won the championship rounds to get it over the line. Hurt him badly in the 12th, hurt him in the 10th, won the 11th. But it was a very close fight, and Franklin was outstanding. And Dillian Whyte with a new trainer, trying a few new things, and he had to revert to type for me in the end to win the fight.
A lot of people online and in this arena said that Franklin done enough to do it. So realistically, how did you have the fight in the end?
I thought Dillian won the championship rounds to win the fight by a round, maybe 2 rounds. I can see a draw. And when it's 115, 113, I can see it the other way as well. So I don't blame people for thinking Franklin might have nicked the fight. I think it was a very close fight, but I think the finish from Dillian Whyte, winning 10, 11, 12, it's very difficult not to give him at least 3 rounds between 1 and 9, in my opinion. So I think he did enough to nick the fight.
I saw you across the ring speaking to AJ. What was AJ saying in that fight? Can you tell us?
Yeah, he thought it was a great fight. After 5 or 6 rounds, I thought Franklin was controlling the fight. And, we're looking at it thinking maybe you're going to fight Jermaine Franklin next. He says, I'll fight any of them, and it was obviously Dillian Whyte that come through. That's the fight that he wants. Whether that's in March or whether that's in June, July, we'll have to see.
Was there any plans to get AJ in the ring for a little face-off at the end?
I think we're past that now. I think he's too big a name to get involved in all that. But I think he obviously wants great fights. Dillian Whyte, the 2 Londoners, they're one apiece. The third one would be huge, and we'll see what happens.
Stadium fight that in the summer, yeah?
Yeah, I mean AJ's a stadium fight wherever he goes. So we'll see what happens over the next. Let Dillian have his rest. He had a tough 12 rounds there, and see what happens.
Just very quickly through the card then, Pat McCormack, it was very frustrating for him, but he got the rounds under his belt. Mark Dickinson, the same. Sandy Ryan in a really good fight. Yeah. Then obviously we spoke about it. Wardley Gorman, just a 3-round heavyweight epic.
Yeah, it was a great card, a great fight. I mean, Wardley Gorman was a great fight because, Gorman busted up Fabio's face in the first 1.5 rounds. And we keep talking about amateur pedigree and white collar background, but ultimately it's the things you can't teach that won Fabio Wardley that fight. It was big heart, big set of bollocks, and the ability to bite down on the gum shield and fire back. And he's very dangerous when he lets his hands go. And I thought it was a great performance from him. Sandy Ryan was fantastic, a great victory. Pat McCormack will be disappointed, but it's okay. Andino's not going to get the invite back, but sometimes you've got to go through that frustration. And I thought he did okay. Mark Dickinson was okay. I think he was trying a bit too hard in there, but was with a tough opponent. Chev Clark, fantastic. I think he's going to be really knocking on the door of these domestic cruiserweights soon. And good wins for George Liddard, who I think is going to be a superstar, and Thomas Carty as well. Great night of boxing. On we go to Phoenix for Estrada Chocolatito 3, huge card, and then back for Josh Warrington.
Last one, just John Ryder. Just fantastic. Is he going to get in the Canelo fight?
I've already texted Eddie Reynoso and said, listen, he's mandatory, let's do it. I think to have Canelo Alvarez in London would be unbelievable. And John Ryder's paid his due. He's just beat Danny Jacobs. He's just beat Zach Parker. He's mandatory to Canelo Alvarez. Let's give Johnny Ryder that big fight, maybe at the Emirates. He loves his Arsenal, and I think that fight could be next for Canelo Alvarez. We'll see.
Excellent. Cheers, Eddie. Thank you very much, mate.
Whyte Live returns to Channel 5 this Friday. Two of Britain's most exciting super lightweights collide at London's legendary York Hall. Don't miss Eubank vs Farrell this Friday on Channel 5.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.